I don't like the fact that because I wear a hijab, people just assume that I need to be the spokesperson for Islam. And it's like, oh, no, no. I cannot speak for a billion people. The Quran speaks for a billion people. I am just a dumb bitch. Like,
Yeah.
don't look at me for any type of leadership, please.
I am not your ambassador.
I am not your leader. I
Yeah.
promise.
You are now listening to the Arab is Me podcast.
Ahlan wa sahlan. We are here on the Arab is Me podcast. I am your host, Saeed Durrah. As you can see, we have a very, very, very special guest, and I am going to introduce her only in a way that is going to annoy her because she is going to know exactly why I'm doing this. Her name is Nina Kharoufeh. MashaAllah. What's going on, Nina? How are you?
Hi, I miss you. I was so happy a few weeks ago. I went to Washington, D.C. for a podcast, and I went to eat food and smoke hookah before I drove home, and I randomly bumped into Saeed, and it was the happiest moment of 2026, and I screeched so loud everyone looked.
Yeah. I literally
But
looked
that
up
was
from
a
my
screech of
laptop.
excitement.
Yeah, I heard this like, ah! And I looked and I was like, oh my God, somebody burned themselves with faham or something, with charcoal. And
Yeah,
then,
it was,
yeah,
everyone looked at it. I was like, sorry, false alarm, just saw a friend.
yeah. No, I'm so happy to have seen you then, but also to
Yeah.
have you on now.
Thank
For
you.
those that don't know Nina Kharoufeh, the bio goes 3 pages long because this lady, I don't know if you've actually when they say you can wear many hats, like you wear many hijabs? Is
I
that
do wear many hijabs.
okay? So you wear many hijabs. Number one, stand-up comedian, mashallah. Number two, amateur boxer. Number three, you had some time to be an author on the side.
Yeah.
You wrote a children's book called I'm a Princess Too. You were on the Food Network. You've been on TRT. You've been on Al Jazeera. Oh, that's the book right there. I'm gonna have to get copies of that book. I'm gonna have to get it. I'm gonna have to get it for my niece. You were also on a matchmaking show on TLC that me and my wife binge watched for a little while. You have opened for some amazing talents who,
Yeah.
just like I had on your post recently, who were blessed to have performed with you.
Thank
such as,
you. I agree. They're the blessed
DL
ones.
Hughley, Godfrey, Bassem Youssef, and weren't you like with Cat Williams? Didn't you do a show with Cat Williams or something, or were you just there?
We hung out, but I didn't perform.
Either way, like I'll date myself here. Your Rolodex,
Yeah, but Cat's
is
Cat's a buddy.
yeah. So you've performed all over the world. Actually, I performed with you in Palestine,
Yeah.
which was like a trip. All of us getting into taxi cabs and absolutely driving the
It
cab.
was so
driver
much fun.
crazy. So I really appreciate you being here. When we start this podcast, I always start with an opportunity for me to heavily judge you. So we're going to start real quick by asking you, in this podcast, we consider like inti jaya khalas, you're azuma. You're coming to my house, but with you being in my house, you get to decide what's on the dinner table. So we're eating al sufra. You tell me what is your Arab menu that needs to go on the dinner table, so I can judge if that's actually a good menu or not.
Okay, my favorite.
What are we eating? What are we eating?
I love malfouf.
Okay. Malfouf
Everyone thinks
good.
I'm gross.
Underrated malfouf.
So underrated. Are you
very
kidding
underrated?
me?
It's the stepchild for wara.
I'll take malfouf over warak.
Ooh.
Yeah.
This is controversial. The first controversial thing.
I love bamia.
Okay.
Everyone, like,
Bamia.
I'm such a khatiara.
Yeah. It's good.
Like,
It's good.
I love mtafaya.
Mtafaya.
Do you know
You're
what that
putting
is?
that on the table? Oh my goodness. Okay.
It's just very salty though.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay.
Like, I'll eat chishish like candy.
And T, by the way, you're already people who want to know where Nina is originally from, her bloodline. She's already explaining it. she's already dropped names. I guarantee half the people don't even know what some of these
Why
things
don't
are.
they know?
I'm telling you, they don't know. They don't know. Even Malfouf, by the way, they're like, okay, like it's still Malfouf doesn't get the love that Wara does. I really don't know. I think like Wara is Jordan and Malfouf is Pippin.
Okay.
It's
I love Arabi like tabikh. Like
okay.
I'm like anything that's like super fallahi I love.
But can I
I
ask you
love
then a question?
makluba.
Of course. Can I ask you though a
Hold
question
on.
about Malfouf?
What did you say?
I have a question about Malfouf real quick.
Okay.
Does Malfouf have to be like served hot for you, or can you eat it cold, like from a Tupperware container?
I'm as a former fatty,
Yeah.
I can eat malfouf cold or hot. It does not
Okay.
matter.
Okay.
I mean, I prefer it hot. Like I could eat it room temperature, but if the rice is so cold it's hard, I'll get grossed out.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
I don't
All
like
right.
hard rice.
Okay.
But are we gonna talk about mlukhiyah?
Look, I'm not a big mulukhiyah guy. I'm not. My mom says that when I was young, I was a little baby and I used to go, Hoya, Hoya. I don't really, I guess I had a pet name for mulukhiyah because I ate it so often, but like,
Yeah.
but it's good. But that's a lot of things we already have on the table right now, and I'm kind of worried.
Mensaf, but I only eat the rice. I don't eat the bread. And it's not because of like health reasons or anything. I don't like the texture of soggy bread. But also we call it fatiyah. We don't call it mensaf.
Who's we? Explain your bloodlines, by the way. People have to know.
We as in hood Palestinians.
People have to know your bloodline, like where in
I'm from
Palestine.
Durrah, which means I'm a farmer, which means I speak fallahi. So we don't say mensaf, we say fatiyah.
Fatiyah, okay,
which is super ghetto.
But I don't hear any chaff from you when you speak.
Because like, I try to adapt to my surroundings and I code switch with my Arabi.
Okay. All right.
But I'll say khusa. Like
khusa. Wow.
Or a knife.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. See, this is why we do the Arab is Me podcast, so everybody can learn. The comments are already gonna be like, what did she say? So I'm glad people can rewind it back and listen to it. But
now I'm hungry.
Yeah, for sure. And I always say at the start of the show, like, don't worry, everybody, you're right on time. We haven't even eaten yet, and then people expect us to like eat. I think when I get to the point where we grow the podcast, it's going to have to happen at a dinner table.
Yeah.
But inshallah, that'll come soon, and then we'll bring you back for that, and we'll bring all the malfouf and spread it all over the table. It'll be great.
Yeah.
But this actually starts us off with, obviously, you're from Deir Dabwan, you're Palestinian, but when I have anybody on, I usually go on YouTube, type in their name, look up podcasts and things like this. I haven't found a single interview of yours where they don't go like straight to like, so tell us about being a hijabi. Like they don't go deep into like the Arab part of you that's like, asking like how much has being an Arab been an influence on you. I don't really hear too much.
I think not like the whites. Yeah. They see me as a Muslim and not as an Arab. They only see me as a Muslim, so that's why they only ask me about my hijab. They kind of don't understand that like I'm Muslim, but I'm also an Arab. So they don't really get to the Arab part. They only get to like the Muslim part, the Islamophobia, if I got bullied in high school. And then they get really disappointed when I tell them that I was the school bully.
Is that just white people though?
Everybody, really.
Really? Okay. That's what I was about to say. I was going to ask you, like, when people see you walking towards them on the street, or you walk into a meeting, or you're meeting somebody for the first time, are they seeing you as hijabi girl, Muslim hijabi girl, Arab hijabi girl, just Arab? Like, I don't know. I feel like you you almost have several kind of characters, and the one that they choose is just like Muslim girl.
Yeah, definitely. For example, like people, that's so funny that you mentioned it, because I was just thinking about that today, because I did a podcast at 2:30 in Manhattan, and she chose to focus on matchmaking. So we talked about dating and relationships the entire hour. She didn't ask me one religious question, one ethical, like one question about my ethnicity, which is fine. I don't care. Like, it's her show. She can talk about whatever she wants.
Yeah.
But she chose to focus on the fact that I talk about dating a lot, you know? So it is funny that you mentioned what people decide to choose and run with when they speak to you.
I get irritated by a lot of the interviews that you've had.
Okay,
And
discuss, please.
Yeah. So here's why I get irritated.
Everyone owes an apology if you've interviewed me in the past.
No, not everybody. Not everybody. I get irritated by a lot of them, and I'm sure you can respect this. Like, when I get on the podcast, like I try my best to keep it 100 all the time. And one of the things that I notice is that you get a lot of very kind of loaded or leaning questions. Like, so like when your parents saw you doing comedy, you know, like, what was their thoughts? Like, it's already kind of loaded in like, there's undertones there of like if you curse or something, like, they'll put it in the form of a question when they're really thinking like, wow, how is this lady cursing? Or, hey, how can
they're really like spreading like stereotypes within their questions.
Right.
You know,
exactly.
I was like, you're being very stereotypical within and you're disguising it as you're just being curious.
Right.
But what you're really doing is being passive aggressive.
Right.
Microaggressions, right. You know, but maybe you could call me naive. I tend to give people the benefit of the doubt, and maybe they just are not even aware they're doing it. So I kind of just smile and answer the question. You know, I don't, even though I should be like, you know, that question was phrased horribly.
Yeah.
But, you know, I try to be nice and, you know, I just answer the question because I sometimes I think that they don't really even know they're doing it.
Right.
But maybe I should educate them that they're doing it and call them out on bullshit. But
no, but the thing is like, if I came to you and I say like, hey, Nina, you know, you wear hijab and you curse a lot on stage. How's that? You know, like, it's them basically saying that like they're seeing an issue with it, or they're having trouble kind of grasping this concept that, like, you know, the hijab is something that you wear for your relationship with God. Those are about you. But then they phrase a lot of questions around like, how can I be seeing you say this or hear you say, I don't know. It's kind of a weird, it's a weird thing. And I also know that
it's like very judgmental.
Yeah, but it's like you said earlier, it's kind of like a microaggression. Like, I don't know.
And it's also a question that you would never ask anybody else.
Yeah, and
you know
also
what I'm
like
saying? Also, they wouldn't even ask a man. For example, you're a sweet pumpkin angel, and I don't think I've ever heard you curse. But let's say you did have
you've never heard me curse? Okay, all right.
Let's say you did have a bit where you were dropping F-bombs and sure. This and that. And you did an interview the next day, they wouldn't ask you, so you curse as a Muslim, you know what I'm saying? Like, they wouldn't ask anyone else the questions they would ask me, and it's a little frustrating.
Yeah, that's why I sometimes I get irritated, because I feel like there's two Ninas, right? I feel like there's the surface Nina, and then there's like as an example, and for those who don't know, when you do the Arab is Me podcast, I have a little questionnaire that you fill out. One of the answers, you said people are too damn sensitive, and then 2 answers later you said I'm just a sensitive baby that cries all the time. And I was like, you just said, like, in your own answers, 2 answers apart.
There was context. You're missing the context.
Okay, what's the context? Sorry, and
First of all, I don't even remember filling out this questionnaire. So wait, I definitely would say that I'm a crybaby, because I'd say that all the time. So I definitely fill that out myself.
For sure.
I was saying when what I was saying about people are too sensitive was when it comes
Yeah.
to comedy and cancel culture.
Right.
That's what I
Okay.
was trying to say. Like, for example, because the roast had just come out and people were going off, and I'm like, guys, it's a roast. You're supposed to hit below the belt, and you're supposed to make fun of people. Like, although I do understand the backlash with the George Floyd stuff and all that,
Yeah.
and like all the racism and whatnot, but at the end of the day, it is meant just to be funny, and people were taking it way too harsh. So that's what I
Yeah.
was trying to say when it comes to people are too sensitive. But I am also sensitive in my real life. Like, for example, like if somebody yells at me, I will start crying.
Yeah.
And then I'll swing because I also
Wait,
have anger issues. So it's like
yeah.
I was talking about people's sensitivity when it comes to like the culture and
I
and
got you.
everyone's trying to get canceled, and he said this and we should not hire, and it's like, just calm down.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm just saying that, like, back to the thought that I had, like there's these two different Ninas, and the Nina that is more or less kind of like the deep thinker and the super analytical, side, and like you're very like I haven't seen too many people get into like you're like super watani about like Palestine, like
Yeah.
you've got a history there of a lot of like not only just work you've done, but like where you've put your body on the line for Palestine, and things like that. But people don't get to that because they just want to like, so tell me also about like
They're
I
just like,
feel
your
like,
outfits are so cute. And I'm like, oh my God, thank you, girl.
which by the way, now that I'll be a hypocrite here, I was telling somebody this recently. Didn't you tell me one time that you like personally design and make a bunch of your outfits?
Yes. The dress I
So
wore to my brother's wedding, I sketched it and I gave it to a lady and I bought the material and I was like, make this for me.
wow.
Because
Okay.
I
So
couldn't find anything on the rack that I liked.
so is that a side business that I should be like
No, God,
promoting?
no. It's
No,
just for
no. Okay.
myself because I'm picky.
Well, either way, that's why I'm saying that like I sometimes wish that people would kind of get to that level because um all jokes aside, I feel like there are some people that when I see them and they talk about Palestine and stuff, I often ask myself, like, I wonder what portion of their Arabness was like inherited, like was they were born into, and like what part of it do they feel like they grew into and they had to learn and they had to learn to love and respect. So for somebody like yourself, what do you think are examples of things that like weren't just put on a platter for you in terms of like your love of Palestine, like the things that you had to grow and learn to love about your culture?
I think the things I had to learn to love were the things that I would get in trouble for. For
Okay.
example, like my whole life I grew up, my parent, well, this is also religion. This is also religious, but also it is in our culture. Even Catholics have like the whole like no boys and it's a hab and men and women
Sure.
are separate. Things I used to get in trouble for. I had to learn to grow to love and understand why they were coming from that place and the importance of it and the importance of trying to tell your kids to get married younger so you could establish a life and now that I'm older and I see that people my age are lost because they don't have stability at home and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's why you guys wanted us to get married young and start a family. Gotcha. So there's a few parts of our culture that I had to like adapt to. And also it took me a long time to mature and realize why those things were
Yeah.
prioritized, you know?
So if you could adjust the culture or retain from the culture, like what are the things about the Arab culture, like if you can take one thing and just and hug it all day long that you love, and what are things that like you wish you can just toss out and everyone forget?
I mean, the things I would hug are like thobes and our obsession for gold
Yeah.
and our music and our food and our dancing and just all that stuff, or like
Yeah.
our depcha and our playing drums and argila and all the fun stuff. I just like, oh, this is so nice.
Yeah.
And then there is the double standards that I was like, we need to get rid of this.
Yeah.
For example, like I was saying, because the double standards that we have in our culture are also Americans have that too. For example, if we were both to do a show and I were to curse and so would you, they would only ask me why I chose to curse. And it would just be, he's just doing a bit. Whereas
Yeah.
like I'm held to a different standard and it's so much pressure and I don't like it.
Yeah. Like,
Also, I don't like the fact that because I wear a hijab, people just assume that I need to be the spokesperson for Islam. And it's like, oh, no, no. I cannot speak for a billion people. The Quran speaks for a billion people. I am just a dumb bitch. Like,
yeah.
don't look at me for any type of leadership, please.
I am not your ambassador.
I am not your leader. I
Yeah.
promise.
So, can I ask you a question then related to hijab? Because I feel like I've had conversations about this a lot. And I'm not one of those guys, by the way, that tries to make some like bold statement about hijab and then puts a but at the end of it. Like, I've never worn hijab, so I wouldn't know. But here's my
Yeah.
opinion on it. But I have a question related to that, which is, do you feel people who wear hijab almost deserve their own category in terms of their achievements? Like, if you suddenly tomorrow host the Grammys, would you want to be the first Palestinian female to host the Grammys? Would you want to be the first Palestinian to host the Grammys? Or would you be comfortable with people saying the very first hijabi to host the Grammys? Like, do you feel like
That's
hijabis
such a
deserve
hard
their own?
question.
I know, but I think about
Wow.
this all the time because sometimes I've seen women who are just like, I'm the first hijabi to do this, and I'm like, and I don't know how I feel about it because I'm like, representation wise, that's amazing, but like, is that a thing? And I don't wear hijab, so I don't think I can actually weigh in fully on this. But what are your thoughts?
I have conflicting feelings because I think my whole shtick in comedy is like we're trying to show people that we're just regular people who are Muslim. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love sushi, I love iced coffee, I go to
Yeah,
Pilates. Like, you know what? Like, we're just regular people. I get in a bad mood. People always look at us like we're like a different breed of human, and we're just women.
yeah, yeah,
So it kind of takes away from that by labeling us the first hijabi as if we're like some abnormal thing.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Not that
yeah, yeah,
anyone's different as abnormal, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to find the right verbiage to not upset anybody.
yeah.
Um,
But the thing is, Nina, is that like
but the
hijabi?
hijab does put you in a limitation. So the fact that you broke out of that limitation and were able to achieve something so big like hosting the Grammys as a hijabi, that is really important to acknowledge. You
Yeah,
know?
because people who wear hijab like yourself are more outwardly. I don't know if this is the right way to say it, but like you're making a statement that no one else can make as fast in terms of what your religious beliefs may be, right? So
Unless
like,
you're a man in a yarmulke,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
maybe, but even that,
But
like, I can't see that from across the street, right? Unless I'm maybe
yeah.
behind them or something. But like, if you come walking towards me, I can immediately start potentially judging you, discriminating against you, and putting you in a category more so than anybody else. And I'm sure, like, Sikhs and people who wear headdress and things like that, I'm sure that's the same. I'm not saying that hijabis are like unique in that sense, but like from that sense, I get it when somebody says that's the first hijabi to do X, Y, or Z, because what they're actually saying is, hijab, people wearing hijab have never been afforded the opportunity for this spot, and this is the groundbreaking person. If Nina hosts the Grammys, that showed you this lady's a trailblazer, because we've had decades of hijabis not being given the opportunity, and she broke that mold. Like, she did something different. So I get
And
it
that's a
from
big
that.
deal.
Right, yeah, right,
But also, it further puts us in a box, in a category of like, we're not just regular people.
right.
Instead of just being a woman, I'm a hijabi woman. And it's like, I'm also just a woman. Like, I'm just a human. Like,
Right, exactly.
So
But then
I have conflicting feelings about it.
and
It's
I
a
don't even,
hard question.
it is.
I would really have to like sit and like think about it, because I struggle with this. For example, like I'm the first hijabi amateur boxer in New York.
Right.
But like I don't go around saying that. I'm never like I'm the first, like
But
it's
like I would
kind
say
of
that,
cringy.
right? Exactly. But I would
It's
say
a little
that, like,
cringy.
but if I was trying to hype you up, I would say that. Like I would say that to somebody and be like, you do know that Nina is the first hijabi, amateur boxer in New York. But at the same time, I could like, so it's a big deal to me. But then if you came to me and you said, pound per pound, I'm the number one hijabi, I'd also then be like, how many hijabis are there, Nina? Like,
Well, if I'm pound for pound, I'm number one because it's only me.
exactly,
So
right?
I'm top of the list, hunty.
Right, exactly. So,
But I hate saying things like that because it is
yeah,
a little like cringy. Like,
yeah.
you know,
So have you had times where you felt like, and I know Arab, I guess this question could easily be asked if I was referring to like Arabs as well, but have there been times where you feel like you're not, I don't know, acting Muslim enough for certain spaces, and then other times you feel like I'm reflecting too Muslimy or
oh
too
yeah,
Arab for particular spaces? Like, I'd love to hear about that because again, I don't experience that like you would.
it's tough. It's really, really tough. Like, for example, although like I'm a Jersey girl, I'm super Arab. Like I'm listening to Mokabha Depka music in the gym in my headphones,
Right,
like, yeah. So like if everyone's like, Nina, like pass the aux, like I'm playing like Arab nasheed music,
right, right,
So everyone in the car is like, what's this kind of music, So sometimes I do feel like I'm way too Arab, especially like in school. Like if I went to pack a school lunch, like I'm packing what my mom cooked, I'm packing mluchia.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So everyone in school is like, what are you eating? So I do feel like I am too Arab,
It's cool.
or for example, like even on Friday, my friend is fighting outdoors and it's on the beach.
Right,
I'm gonna be the only one fully covered up.
right.
Everyone's gonna be like, oh my god, Nina, how do you do it? Oh my god, Nina, are you hot? Oh my god, Nina, are you allowed to, like I'm already like, everyone's gonna ask me a million questions about the beach. Do you wear a
Right,
one piece or two? And I'm like, my joke, I wear 11 pieces. Like,
right.
so there's times where I'm clearly the outsider. Just
Yeah,
hanging out at a fight, I'm the outsider. And then I feel like sometimes when I go to like a family event or a wedding or something, everyone's like, wait, you were in Rome yesterday for a comedy show? Like, what the hell? Like, so that I am very like free and wild, even though I'm so not, I'm so boring. But they just have that perception of me because of what I do for a living, that I'm like out and partying. And that's why I made a meme of myself in Dubai sleeping backstage, and I wrote what everyone thinks Dubai is, and it's a party, and then what Dubai actually is. And it was a
oh
picture of
wow,
me sleeping because I was so jet lagged. So everyone's like, oh my god, you're so lucky, you're going on tour. And I was like, it's not what you think it is. It's so much work, it's so exhausting. I'm sleeping. Like,
yeah,
I'm not out partying. But they just assume that. So then I feel like I'm not Arab enough for them and I'm too westernized. And then when I'm with non-Arabs and non-Muslims, I'm way too Arab and Muslim because how am I in full outfit on the beach? Like,
yeah, yeah,
so I just
yeah,
feel like I don't really belong anywhere.
yeah. That's gotta be interesting because even when I've been with you when we perform, right, and you go out on stage, I know for a fact that there are times where you finish up your set and there are people who are judging you because you are wearing a hijab and now like have issues with your jokes because they're like, that shouldn't have come from the mouth of this hijabi girl. But at the same time, I've seen women who wear hijab come running up to you after shows simply because she was funny and she wears hijab.
Yeah.
It's a very weird dynamic. I mean, I will never understand. And you know, and I don't think that it's very fair that if you drop the F-bomb and I drop the F-bomb, that people are like, for me, they're like, haha, it's okay. But for you, are like, who raised this
Yeah.
lady? Um,
I have
but
this weird thing where people either I'm talking about strangers. I'm not
Right.
talking about when people get to know me and they realize I'm annoying and all that stuff. Like, I'm talking about like complete strangers.
Yeah,
People either love me or hate me, and there's no middle ground.
right. Before
It's
you said a
either
thing, by the way.
simply
Wow.
like, because I could get on stage and just because I'm in a hijab, I turned half the audience off.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then, or I ignited them because they're like, oh, that's cool. That's interesting. Oh, I see myself in her. Like, I'm talking about like Arab crowds,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So people either love me or absolutely want me dead.
Yeah.
And there's no in between.
Well, you know,
Even my DMs, I'll let someone scroll through my DMs and the DMs are, oh my God, let's get married. Oh my God, I'm in love with you. Oh my God, I'm obsessed with you. Or please kill yourself. I hate you. Like, you know, just complete extreme opposites.
So then let me ask you
No
this.
one's ever DM'd me and was like, you're okay. I'd love for someone to DM me and be like, you're mid. Please think I'm mid. I'll take it.
I actually, for the Arab is Me podcast, had posted something where I was like, hey, like, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. And this lady wrote, you're not funny. There was nothing meant to like blow her away with comedy in the thing. And I was like, some people are just like, forget projecting. Some people are just going through something, because I was like, lady, I wasn't trying to like, and then I start, and you know, the analytical side turns on. I'm like, or did she come to like a show and she's seeing me again now? And she's like, he's still not funny. Like, and this is something I was going to ask you, because you've told me these kind of things before where like you either get marriage proposals, death threats, or we love you. Like,
Yeah.
you know, but what's then harder? What's the harder punch to take, when you're in the boxing ring or when you're in your DMs then, or when you're hearing people give their opinions on your comedy?
Unsolicited advice.
Yeah, because that's a hard punch to take too. Like, people don't understand.
I'm not gonna lie. I have very thick skin.
Yeah.
I'm very aware that people on the internet suck and they're projecting, and a lot of them are whatever. There's one specific kind of comment or message that I get that is the only thing that really, really deeply affects me and ruins my day. And it's whenever I'm speaking about Palestine and I get people nitpick at me, and I'm like, I'm doing my very best.
Right.
I'm sorry. For example, I went on a newscast around October 7th, and I went on and I was like, Israel's an apartheid state and they're doing this, and I memorized my facts, and I was like, I'm gonna say all the things that people are scared of, and I went down and I gave that interview I did it from the bottom of my heart. And a bunch of the comments were like, she's wearing Jordans, she blah blah blah, and apparently we have to boycott Nike.
Yeah. Right.
Bitch, I bought those sneakers 2 years ago. Like, literally, that's what you're taking away from my post.
Right.
Or like, I posted a video that went super viral, and it said me opening for Bassem Youssef, and I was hosting, and I was like, fuck Israel, right?
Right.
And all the comments are like, you should be ashamed of yourself that you're cursing with a hijab on. And I was like, Israel is committing a genocide against our people, and you're worried about a word that I'm using?
Right.
Sorry, I didn't speak in the way you deemed appropriate. Like, even when I'm trying to like spread awareness or like, I posted a video of me like very early on, and I was like, hey, like I want everyone to know that I will never be silent on Palestine. Like, I don't care how many gigs I lose. I don't care how. By the way, that video, I lost my manager.
Yeah.
And a bunch of Arabs in the comments were like, look at all her makeup that she's wearing. Look at all. And I'm like, that's when I get bothered, because I'm like, I can't win. I can't win with our community. No matter what I do, I just cannot win.
Here's the irony and in all of this, right? Let's just say that Ahmar DJ Khaled came out tomorrow, right? And in an interview, when somebody asked him, how come you've never said anything about Palestine? Can you imagine if he said, I just don't think I'm smart enough to articulate it. I was afraid to mess up. You know, can you imagine if he admitted that he was afraid to say it in the wrong way? You know what the whole community would say at that point? Bro, just say anything.
That's not true, because I say anything and I get my head ripped off. And here's the thing, sir, I'm not going to lie to you. A
Right.
lot of the times, I don't feel like I'm going to say the right thing, so I just don't say anything.
Right.
There's been so many times since October 7th that I've gotten invited on like big news shows, and I'm just like, what if I slip up? What if I say that our community is unrelenting when it comes, like, unless they deem what you say perfect, like they won't let you live it down.
Yeah.
I'm too scared of our own people to get on the news and talk about Palestine more than I am of like the ramifications of my career.
Right. And that's the worst thing that could possibly happen, is that somebody feels kind of that, I almost want to say, intimidated by the repercussions and the consequences of speaking in the wrong way that they don't speak at all. Like, I personally, again, very honest, I always tell people, if you're ever worried about saying it the right way, just talk about what you personally feel. Don't speak for anybody else, and then you can avoid all the audits. So if I tell people I am devastated by what's happening to my family in Gaza, right? They can't come and go, it's, you know, Saeed, you, like, if I say, look, it's a war, you know, when war happens, this is the worst thing. They can't come to me and go, well, Saeed, don't call it a war, call it this, call it that. It'd be like, you have to understand.
It's not a war, it's a genocide. They don't have, I'm like, obviously we know we're just,
yeah, we have to have a longer runway for people to make micro mistakes in the scheme of things. Now, don't get me wrong. If somebody comes out and says, I just want peace and I wish the Palestinians and the Israelis can just sit down and just talk it out, I'm not going to be like, well, I wish you would have said this.
Well, that's
not
like, a mistake. That's just stupidity.
Right. Now we're starting to get stupid, where it'll be like,
me wearing Travis Scott Jordans on TV should have been okay.
Exactly. And I think, if anything, people should be like, hey, by the way, I wouldn't give too much face time for Nikes going forward. Or just, hey, by the way, don't forget, you know, don't do this. Like, I've gotten on people before, like, I created almost a decade ago through Nike, I created what I called the Air Ghazas, which actually said Gaza on them, but you don't wear them. I put them on the top shelf in my closet, and they have the colors of Palestine. And this is before a lot of the big Nike talk, but you don't wear these shoes. They don't go on my feet. And people were just like, shoes that say Gaza? And I was like, you don't understand. These shoes never go on the ground. They go above everything in my closet. I have a special spot for them. I like the colors. I like the look and feel. I don't wear them. But then when everybody starts coming out with kufiya design shoes that say Palestine or something on them, I'm like, I actually am one of those people that say, I don't think we should write Palestine on things we wear on our feet. Personally, you want to wear some socks or something with some colors, okay? But if it says Palestine, I don't think you should put, you know, culturally, we don't put things we respect on the ground.
Yeah.
So, like, but when I come out and say that, they're like, the brother, he's trying to start a new business, Saeed. And I'm like, so why did my shoes that never go on your feet catch flack, but their shoes they're designing and selling is okay because haram, there's a new business? Like, so I'm with you.
I learned that you can't win, so just do your best, and that's all that counts.
Yeah, and
you're never gonna win everyone. Like, it's just never gonna happen.
But the worst thing that you can do for you and for me is allow some of those voices that do come out and maybe hold us to a certain standard to intimidate us to the point where we don't want to say anything. I would rather you say things and make small mistakes than not say anything at all. And like I said, you walking up on stage with your hijab says immediately before the mic gets turned on a lot more than what it would say if I walked on stage.
Yeah.
I might be the one exception, right? Because I carry the keffiyeh around my neck every time I perform my whole life, and people used to
Yeah.
make fun of me. Even Arab, I don't know if you know this. They used to make fun of me and be like, "Okay,
Really?
yeah." They used to be like, "Khalas, Saeed, okay, like we get it. Okay, you're going up there, and you." But over the last like few years, everybody has been in support of that. But when I first started doing it, they thought it was a gimmick. They thought it was like a very gimmicky, almost borderline hacky thing. And
You
I was
can't
like,
win. That's why you just have to do what you want to do. You just have to be authentically yourself and just try your best, and that's all you can offer.
yeah. And by the way,
I would just reply to these people and I would be like, I'm doing my best. I'm sorry, it's not enough. I
can you and I, because I think we agree on what I'm about to say, can you and I talk for just a moment about hacky Arab comedy?
Can I name drop? I'm just kidding.
I don't even want to name drop because there's been people who have done it and gotten away from it, and then there's people who weren't with it and now do it. I just don't like the I don't like punchlines I could see coming from a mile away that contribute to stereotypes and contribute to things where yeah, so today I walked in and I knew my family was in the car because it smelled like garlic.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you got.
I think there's I can't the whole like TikTok Arab humor is fine on TikTok, but when certain comics, and I'm not going to say names, are bringing it to the stage, you're like, you need to stop. And the reason why these comedians are selling out the improvs is because they have huge social media numbers. Sure. And the reason they have huge social media numbers is because there's a bunch of 11-year-olds who think they're funny,
right?
Who follow them.
Yeah, and I think people should try to do comedy. I wish there was like
I'm
there's
not
a lot of
saying
comedians.
anyone shouldn't try.
Yeah.
Getting on stage and being like, my mom threw a slipper at me, is like, stop it. It's been done. It's been done and it's been done. It's been done. You need to move forward.
And to be honest with you, like if people want to tell like real family stories and they want to get on there, even if it's the slipper, like I don't really care. But for me, that's why I tend to call it lazy comedy. I'm not here as like some that I'm just sitting here trying to, I don't know what the word may be, kind of hold people back or tell people that they need my approval. Not at all. Like there's millions of comedians better than me and millions that are maybe worse than me. But like, I just don't like when people take the lazy route and they start writing comedy that just feeds into all of this, like all the
stereotypes.
Stuff
it's memes written out as jokes.
Yeah. And so like you get on stage and I've heard things before where it's like, oh, well, we go and all of our people, we, own shawarma shops and gas stations and whatever. I was like, you're making fun of like a level of hustle that like you don't understand. Like this is not for you to talk about, to sit there and like make fun of these things or to just sit up there and just talk about how I can't believe my parents married their cousins and stuff. Like you're making fun of your culture and people are laughing at you. They're not actually you've seen like my performances and stuff. I'm not saying are on a different level, but like when I talk about real stories, like I actually try to do it in such a way that lends to people loving the culture more.
Yeah.
Like, oh, the Arab are doing this and the Arab are doing that. I think it like hurts us when we have people just jump up there and say, hi, my name is Saeed. I'm Palestinian. Don't be afraid, everybody.
I hate that. I hate when people do that.
Yeah, like I think that had a time and place for it.
It had a time and place around 9/11. It's 2026. Stop it.
Yeah.
I think we've proved time, and we've proved decade after decade that Muslims are not anything to be scared of.
Yeah, like
And you merely mentioning it is just reiterating this white supremacy ideology that Muslims need to like be apologetic and denounce terrorism. We don't need to denounce anything. Do you see white people denouncing school shootings every day? It happened a whole lot more than terrorist attacks in America by Muslims. Like,
yeah.
enough with the stereotypes. I hate when Muslims get on stage and they're like, boo. You're like, shut up, you cornball. I want to smack the shit out of them so bad. There was this one comic.
Like a year ago.
Comedian. There was this one comedian. She's a female. She's Persian.
Yeah.
She gets on stage and she's like, oh, I'm sure this is what a Muslim woman sounds like since we're not allowed to speak. And you're like, who said we're not allowed to? What are you even talking about? What are you talking about?
It kills me.
It's such a dangerous rhetoric that our people are pushing because they're lazy to write a joke.
Right. And you said something not too long ago on an interview you had, and I agree with it, is that I think it's also time for us to continue to sprinkle in real world material that doesn't necessarily have to be like, all right, my name is Saeed and I'm going to tell, this joke about Mensev. And that's the only thing that I can talk to you about because I can't talk about traffic.
Yeah.
Because apparently as a Muslim Arab, like I don't experience traffic. Like that's why I like some of the kind of bigger name comedians that tend to venture off into like, let me talk to you about my relationship. Let me talk to you about my kids. Let me talk to you about my job. But I will say that sometimes there's a fear with the comedians, especially that it won't work for the super Arab audience or the super Muslims. They won't like it or they won't get it. To which I say that's garbage, because when you go to Palestine, as you have done before, and you perform, they get and laugh at everything.
Yeah, they're great crowds.
Right. They're not expecting us to get on stage and just be like, and here comes my token Arab jokes. Like you can talk about whatever. And I love that. That's why I tell people like performing in Palestine was like my favorite life experience.
Oh,
and I know
it was amazing.
You loved it as well.
It was my favorite week of life.
Did you go into it though with like any did you psych yourself out when you got there? Like, I need this type of material, and then you realize, whoops, I was overthinking this?
I think I was at a disservice to myself only because I was so new to comedy when I went there to perform. Right. I didn't know what real stand-up comedy was. I was still an open micer here in New York. I barely had enough material to do 15 minutes. Like I was relying a lot on like just being personable and like crowd work, but I didn't realize like crowd work didn't really work out there. Like it's just different, and I wasn't seasoned enough as a stand-up to be able to really grasp what the crowd wanted and needed. Nonetheless, I still did great because they're just such great crowds.
Yeah.
So now that I'm going again, I'm like, okay, now I can actually do well because it's years later. I've progressed as a comedian, I know how to do it now. So even being such a rookie and not really knowing what I was even doing, I still had such a good time. Like
it used to be so funny, Nina, because I remember one lady specifically coming up to me with like her sister or something, and they were waiting to like take pictures with you. And so I became the photographer, of course, because they were like, who's this guy? And I was like, I perform too. They're like, whatever.
Security, come here.
Yeah. So they were like, all right. And so the lady, she goes, she's so tough. She's so strong. I love her. It's just so strong. And then like, I'm like, she isn't she? And like 10 minutes after everybody leaves, you come up to me, you grab my arm, you're like, oh my God, Saeed, what did you think? Did I do okay?
I was like, crying.
Yeah, and I'm like, she's so strong. She's so tough. And yet, little do they know, all of us, including yourself, like go and like cry ourselves to sleep if we.
I was in the bathroom sobbing because I did not do that well that night. And I'm not trying to be humble. I just you know when you do well and when you don't. Like, let's be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah, yeah,
But again, even though I was so new and I had so much room for improvement, I still had such a good time. The
yeah.
crowds were amazing. The crowds were so much fun. Everyone there was there to have a good time. Everybody was so nice and so supportive. Even that day that I bombed and sobbed, everybody was like, "You're amazing," and I was like, "Thank you." Like, it was the crowds were, the people were amazing. Just the food, just Philistine's a heaven on earth. You
Yeah.
know?
I always tell comedians that it's your performance is never as bad as you think, but it's probably never as good as the other comedians tell you it was.
Yeah.
So,
You know it was bad when Reem was like, "It wasn't that bad."
oh yeah. Well,
I
that's
was like, "Shut up."
yeah. No, but I don't. You, by the way, you slid that in there where you were saying you bombed and you didn't do well. I don't actually recall a particular performance where
Think it
you
was
were
Bethlehem. I
okay.
think it was that one. But again, I was so new. I didn't deserve that gig. I'm very grateful and happy that I got chosen and
Yeah,
I had, because it was an amazing experience.
yeah,
Um and it was my favorite week of my life.
yeah.
To
So
be
what?
able to be back home and also doing stand up with, like, your two favorite things in the world colliding. You're like, "I can't handle this."
In some cases we kind of felt like the Beatles or something because like we would go into these venues and by the time the show was done, like everybody was wanting photos
Yeah.
and they wanted to message you on Instagram and it was so wholesome.
Yeah.
um
It was great.
I love it. I had the opportunity to do it a few different times and it was just I highly encourage everybody, especially if you're a comedian out there. I'll put this out there, especially if you're a comedian that is at the level of like you're doing it, like you're a national touring comedian. Do yourself a favor and find a way to make it to Palestine. And like those people I'm sure are out there following all these comedians and desperately wish they would come and perform, go to Ramallah,
Yeah,
do a show. Who cares? 100 people, doesn't matter. um Definitely go. I'm sure you would recommend the same.
for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I wanted to, as we start to get towards the, I guess the latter part of our conversation, because you and I'm sure, could talk for a few days. I always say this is now where we get to the pouring of the chai, and we're getting towards. By the way, are you a tea or coffee? Are you
Uh
a tea or coffee person?
I'm an iced coffee person. I'll drink coffee, like the Arabi one, once in a while, but I love tea.
Okay. All right. Good. Good. I actually I don't drink coffee. Like sometimes I'll drink like Turkish coffee or something, or like I joke with people and I say I'm a Aza drinker. So like if there's like a Aza or something like that where they're pouring like Arabic
The
coffee up,
death coffee without
yeah,
sugar.
I will just be like, "Azam Allah, Azam shukran." Yeah, thank you so much. Like that's the only time you'll catch me, I think, like drinking Arabic coffee.
Yeah.
Um, and I get flack for that because people think I'm broken as a Arab that I'm not drinking coffee, but I just don't. So I drink double the chai. So if that means anything.
Yes.
So I want to ask you a couple last things here before we get the bab, the fun part of the fun ending of our conversation. But what do you think? We've discussed so much about your identity, so much about your Arab identity, identifying as Muslim, hijab, a lot of different things. What would you say are the things that, like, if you had an opportunity to take all of your followers and put them into a room and explain to them, y'all have no idea who I am. What are those big Nina Kharoufeh misconceptions that people have?
I think the biggest misconception is that I'm a bitch. I'm actually really nice and I'm very kind and I'm super empathetic. I see somebody old eating breakfast alone and I will start sobbing. Like,
Yeah,
I don't show that sensitive side of me on social media because social media is a performance and it's a version of yourself. It's a heightened version of yourself. And
sure.
I think it's funny to play the heel. And I also do it very well. So,
Yeah,
I kind of just do it, So I think the biggest misconception is that I'm actually way nicer than people think I am, especially when I meet people for the last 31 years of my life who are like, you're so nice. We thought you were the biggest bitch before we met you. And I get that all the time. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I get why people think that because I am very like stern on social media, especially my anti-men rhetoric that I think is so funny. Um, I don't hate men. It's just funny to rage bait.
yeah,
So I think that's a big misconception.
yeah. But like, what's like that hope moment for you where like something that you've heard from someone or you've seen or like a victory that has come from this path that you've chosen where it kind of gives you hope to like recharge your batteries to keep going?
A personal hope?
Yeah, it could be something where somebody said something to you that you were like, this is why I do what I do. Or it could just be a realization. Like you said, you're walking through Palestine, you're holding a microphone, you're looking out at the crowd, and you're like, this is what I signed up for.
Honestly, the time I felt the most like, oh, wow, was being on Mehdi's podcast.
Yeah.
And he was just like, you're so smart and you're so funny. And he's such a brilliant person that I was like, oh, wait, I am smart and I am funny. Wait a minute. Like sometimes you do it for so long, you kind of forget that people that you like look up to are watching.
Right.
Or for example, I saw Dave Chappelle like 2 weeks ago.
Right.
And he was like, oh, I saw that video you posted. It was so funny. And I was like, oh shit.
That's
like,
amazing.
He doesn't follow me on social media, but like he still saw a video of that I posted that he thought was so funny enough that he remembered the entire video and told me about it. And I was like, oh, I am doing something that people are watching and thinking it's funny.
Yeah.
Like just little moments like that remind you that you're not doing it for no reason.
Yeah.
Or when somebody DMs you and they're like, I was so sad and I watched your blank video on this and it gave me like, it inspired me. And I'm like, oh,
yeah.
Like just like little things like that where you're like, I'm going to go sit in a corner and cry now.
Well, I want everyone to make sure they follow you. And I know that on all social media, you are at Nina Kharoufeh, Nina.
Yes.
For those that are not watching and seeing this, they're listening to the podcast. It's Nina Kharoufeh. Right?
Yes, look at you.
Right.
First try.
Mama, I did it, Shaifid. I could spell. All right, so it's at Nina Kharoufeh. What do you got? What are you working on now? Like, what's that next thing that's coming around the corner that just between you and I, no one else is gonna hear this. But like, what's your next big thing that you're working on?
My next big thing is that I just finished filming my first short film. I'm submitting it to a whole bunch of festivals. It's called Working Girls. It's super funny. It's very dark. I love dark comedy. It's about power and hookers, and it's great. I love it. I also just finished writing my second one, and I just got funding and a green light to start filming in September. I'm gonna make that into a web series. You're the first person I'm telling. So I'm just speaking it out into the
We're giving you.
I wasn't actually. I was actually going to tell you once we got off if I could send you the first draft and you could give me your opinion on it. Because Saeed reads all my awful ideas and gives me such good feedback. Oh, he's great.
Isn't the first one that you were just talking about? You and I spoke about that one before.
Yes, and I took all your advice and took all your yes. So,
by the way, misconception. Here's a misconception because I have friends who come and talk to me, like they'll see you or other friends of mine that are posting things, and they're like, what do you think about this? And I'm like, inshallah, I hope she does well with that. They're like, you're just supportive because they're your friend and they're whatever. I'm like, listen, first of all, my conversations that I have with my friends are not your business, number one. But number two, there's a misconception that, especially when it comes to you and like one or two other people, where like people don't think that I would tell you, yeah, I wouldn't do that.
No, you tell. The reason why I ask you is because you're very honest with me, and I
Yeah.
value your opinion. You're very level-headed, and you know who I am, and you
Yeah.
know me. You know
Yeah.
we're friends. You,
Yeah.
you know how I am. You know my dirty laundry. You know I might have you killed one day. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Sure.
Sometimes I'd be breaking down and telling story too much. Um, but no, I the reason why I ask you is because you're so honest, and you have great ideas. Like you punch up my jokes for me. I've been going to you for years for help, and you always pull through for me. And
Yeah,
yeah, no,
no.
you're great at what you do, and that's why I value your opinion.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. And I tell people, like, I don't actually go to anybody and say, first of all, I don't like to give advice. I think I've told you that like a million times, right?
Yeah.
But
No, I
how
beat
I
it out of
always,
you though.
yeah, how I always phrase it with you is, I mean, for me personally, Nina,
You do
I,
say that a lot. I mean, for
like
me,
for
Nina,
me,
I
like
would.
I wouldn't say it. You can say it. Like like, same thing with jokes. People may bring me like a joke and say, what do you think about this? And I'm like, I wouldn't ask, like, I don't get it.
Yeah,
You know, and they're
definitely.
like, all right, I'll scrap it. And I'm like, no, don't scrap it. Don't why you're one of the people that, like, if you're like, all right, Said, I'm gonna say 1 + 1 is 2, and I'd be like, I don't I don't get the math. You'd be like, all right, no more mathematics. And I'm like, no, what are you doing? And you're like, that's it, I'm not performing tonight. And I'm like, what? I have to
Yeah,
just
I crumble quickly. I crumble,
no.
instant crumble. Well, I'm out. Bye. Get
No,
somebody
but
else to do it. I'm good.
keep doing what you're doing. I think that people like yourself, I'll include myself in there as well, like we're constantly in the motion of trying to figure out what works for us, right? And so, like, sometimes people don't understand that they're watching the creative process. That literally, somebody spoke to me today and was asking me about this podcast because I mentioned it to somebody, and they heard me talking about it, and they said, Saeed, I've never even heard of that before. And I was like, I was saying it's brand new, right? And they're like, yeah, but like, how come I haven't heard about it? I'm like, well, it's new, right? Like, you heard that part, right? You heard that it was new. Yeah, and I'm like, you realize you can't hear new things. They need to come out, and then you hear about them. And so they were just like kind of giving me that, and I was like, I was like, I'm giving you behind the scenes of the creative process and telling you what I'm working on. Going forward, khalas, I'm not going to tell you what I'm working on. When it's done, you'll see it. Khalas. But there was this like back and forth and expectation, and it drove me crazy. So
Yes.
don't, people out there, give advice, if that's what you want to do. But like, just remember, you're constantly watching people's creative process, and
Yeah.
they're going to be very in their feelings on those kind of things. So hopefully people will remember that. And if not, you can just go on to Nina's favorite website, nike.com/boycott, where she has a separate line that's coming
Listen,
out.
if you want to buy me sneakers, I'm a 6.5 youth. I also love red bottoms. I'm a size 7.5. I take food stamps, Zelle, Venmo,
Oh
PayPal.
wow! All right. Well,
And
we are now at the point which we call the albab. And so what makes the albab section a little bit unique is that I'm going to be asking Nina a whole bunch of just what are really designed to be rapid fire, but it ends up being a small discussion. And the albab is us literally at the door. Khalas, we've given you the coffee, which is international code in the Arab world for yalla rawhi. We're done with you, right? So go ahead, get out of here. But before you go, we're standing al-bab, and that's where I have some additional questions. But what makes the al-bab part unique, because I always want to, mention this and at least bring this into the work that we're doing, we tie it into a nonprofit kind of try to do good as well. So how this works is anybody who comes on the show, they usually pick a organization, and then if they get through all of the questions and they don't have to duck a question or avoid a question in any way, then I donate on behalf of Arab is Me podcast to the organization. But
I
if they
love
have to,
that.
yeah, but if they have to duck things, then you're donating to your organization that you mentioned. I don't care if it's $1 or $1 million. So the organization that Nina, you picked is the Servant's Promise. I'm sorry.
Yes, I love that. My very good cousin Kiki runs it. He owns it. He started it. They do great work. It's all on ground. He posts everything. He's very, very ethical and very trustworthy. Not that other organizations aren't, but I know this organization for a fact. He's not taking $500,000 commission every year. You know, it's 100% like goes to the people and the employees on the ground. And it's a great organization, and they do a lot of good work.
Amazing. So that's the servantspromise.org. Yes. People can check it out there. So now we are ready to get into the questions.
Okay.
So, all right, here we go. I got my little list here. All right. First question. You have to eliminate the entire catalog of one of these people's work from history. And you keep one, you get rid of one. Who are you keeping? Who are you getting rid of? Kulthum or Fairuz? You're donating right off the bat. It's already
get rid of Kulthum.
Oh, you're keeping Fairuz. Kulthum. Kulthum is not getting love on this podcast.
Was someone else have the same answer?
Yeah, other people are like, I got to.
Sorry. Also, I will make a donation regardless of if I answer the questions or not. How about that?
All right. So here's some fun ones here. If you are traveling for an Arab wedding, does it change your gift amount because you had to travel?
No.
So your gift stays the same even if you spend $1,000 to get there?
Yes.
Mashallah. Okay.
Because if I'm traveling for someone, I love them that much.
Okay.
If I don't fuck with you, I'm not traveling for nobody.
All right. So we know people probably who have been married and divorced several times. Like I know people who have had 4 or 5 marriages. Right? You haven't had 4 or 5.
Just one.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's just one. Okay. Everybody gets a do-over. No problem. But if somebody is getting married for the 3rd, 4th, 5th time,
you don't need to give them a gift.
Okay, that's the question. None at all.
Listen, if they got married once and years down the line they got remarried, that's a different story. But if you're popping out weddings every 12 to 18 months, no, you shouldn't even be having a wedding.
Okay, all right, fair. Yeah, it's ayib and potentially haram. All right, so if you are at a wedding, though, are you the person, no matter whose wedding it is, you are definitely going to be dancing, or are you a watch from the distance?
I'm a watch from the distance.
That's surprising.
And that's why people think that I'm a bitch, because they're like, oh, Shaifa Halha. And I'm like, no, I just have social anxiety.
But you could be Shaifa Halik too.
No, I said, for me to be like really active in a wedding, you have to be like, I love the bride or I love the groom, and that's rare. Okay,
fair enough. All right, so assuming you have some sort of family WhatsApp or group chat.
Yes, it's called the royal family.
Okay, who in the family is most likely to make it awkward on the chat?
My mom.
That's a quick answer.
Because she'll put TikToks that say like, you should respect your mom because heaven is and it's like, we'll just like get into an argument and she'll post like TikToks about like how haram it is to disrespect your mom and stuff, and we're like, stop it.
All right. Well, as a somebody who's had a show about matchmaking on TLC, I want to ask you this next question: true or false? Marriage in the Arab world is 100% about who you love, even if your parents don't like them. Mm,
True.
true. Okay, so parents don't like him. It doesn't matter. It's all about us, boo. It's all about us. Okay, I think that's
There's
gives it.
limits,
Okay,
but true.
yeah, I think it's probably gives it. Okay, so the next one is hummus a meal, a dip, or a side?
Aside.
Just look for one okay. All right. I'm glad we're wrapping this interview
I'm
up.
sorry.
All right. What is your favorite dialect in the Arab world?
Falahi. Hello.
Okay. All right. And what's your favorite hot drink in the Arab world?
Tea with Nana.
Okay. So here's the deep part of this question. You ready? If you can be anywhere in the world and be sipping tea with Nana, and across from you is one person from the Arab history, your family history or beyond, living or not living, and you can have one good cup of chai with Nana with that person, who are they? And where are you in the world?
I am in Dardabwan sipping tea with my grandparents, who I
Mashallah.
never met because they both passed away before I was born.
Allah yarhamhum.
And I
That's
want
it.
to ask them what they did to my mother to make her this way.
I like how it was like all deep and sad, and we were getting teary eyed and be like, "What did you do to make my parents do it there?" All right.
Yeah.
All right. So here's a fun one for you. You are hanging out with your Arab friend. You show them your brand new car. 5 minutes after you leave, your tire goes flat.
Bitch
Coincidence?
didn't say
or hasad?
mashallah.
Yeah, hasad, right?
Yes.
100%. Okay, good. Because some people are like, I don't really believe it's just a coincidence. It's hasad.
I will never take accountability for anything in my life. I blame everything on Hesed.
Okay. All right, cool. We already discussed a little bit about food, so I'm going to skip some of these. But if your doctor told you, I'm sorry, Nina, you have to give up rice or bread, which are you dropping?
Oof. I'm dropping bread.
Dropping bread. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm Ghazawi, so like we eat bread with bread. So like I don't think I could ever drop bread, but I respect it. If you and I met up for lunch and we both were pushing to pay the bill, who would win?
I would win because I'm very sneaky and I will pay immediately before you wouldn't even have noticed that I got up and paid.
Well, I would have shown up the day before saying that I'm going to be meeting you the next day.
I would have showed up the day before that, telling them that you're going to show up the day before that. And then, yes.
All right. So this last one is perfect for Nina Kharoufeh. All right. This last one is going to be perfect. Let's say you are running an hour late for a dinner and you turn on your GPS to see how far you are. It says 1 hour. And your friend texts you and says, Nina, how far are you?
20 minutes.
20. All right. So
I'm on the highway. I'll be there in 20. What's up? How's the parking look like?
Yeah.
How's the
be
parking
there in 20.
situation?
All right. So this question has been has been the most fun out of all the questions because I've been really getting some quality answers. Not one person, so I don't know what this says about Arab, has admitted it's an hour.
Okay.
Even I did interview the other day with Dave Merhej, and so when I asked him, he goes, I got to be honest with him. I'll tell him like 45, 50 minutes.
That's still not
I was like, that's still not honest. He's like, but it's close, right? And I was like, sure.
It's actually really funny.
All right, cool. Well, we definitely enjoyed having you today, Nina. We appreciate it. You had a lot of amazing, insightful answers. I want everyone to follow Nina Kharoufeh. We're not going to even tell people why I keep saying it that way. It's a long story, but we're happy to have you on. Please make sure you follow her And also like, share, subscribe, the whole 9 yards. We appreciate you, Nina, and keep doing what you're doing. I definitely had a great time. I'm glad we were able to have you on. And yeah, so salamat to everybody else. And we will, I guess, talk to everybody on the next episode. Take care, everybody. Thank you again, Nina.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
All right.